everyone, this is Mrs. Morgan. We're on 10-4 radical equations. We're going to solve radical equations and eliminate extra solutions. So we're going to solve and check your solution. It's very similar to solving equations like we used to do. Just -1 both sides. And our root 10h is just going to come down. Equals 20. The new step to this is that to get rid of that square root, we're just going to square both sides. So square here and square here, because if we do the opposite of square rooting, it's taking the square of. So these two will kind of cancel each other out, leaving us with a 10h. And then you just have to square 20, which is 400. And unsurprisingly, we divide both sides by 10. And we end up with h is 40. And the directions say to check your solution. We do that by plugging back in. So 10 times 40 plus 1, well, our square root 400 is 20 plus 1. That does come out to be 21. That checks out. Only do it if you feel that's, oh my God, that's a terrible check mark. So that checks out, so you're good to go. You can do that if you want to. We'll say it's optional. I just want you to know how to do it. All right, moving on. So here we go again. We're going to line -5 both sides. Equals 1. And then again here, we're just going to square both of these to get rid of the square root and the square, they cancel out. That gives us g minus 3 equals 1. We add 3 both sides. And g is equal to 4. Of course, it's never as easy as the first couple of examples. So this next example's got a bit more work to it. One thing I want to remind you of, this is something that you kind of know, but we're going to just quick review it anyway. The principal square root of something is just the positive square root. So if we took square root 9, that 3 is called the principal square root. That'll come up in a few minutes. So we will get started here by squaring both sides of this, and that's going to give us 2n plus 3 equals n squared. All right, and we are going to get everything on the same side, so -3, and I'm lazy, I'm going to do it all in the same step, minus 2n minus 2n minus 3. These will go, we'll have 0 equals n squared minus 2n minus 3. And now we're going to come back to that thing where we have factors of -3 that add to -2. So we would have, say, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3, and 1 plus negative 3 equals negative 2. It's this piece back from chapter, oh golly, I think that's chapter 8 by now. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor this down, and we will have n plus 1 and n minus 3 is equal to 0. And you may recall from the previous chapter that that would give us n is negative 1 and positive 3. But because this is negative, we're actually not going to include it in our final answer because we are only interested in the principal root. Size that a little bit there. So that's what's happening there. Okay, so this is our final answer here. So you'll want to watch out for that. Starting again with an additional step this time, we're going to square both sides. And that'll cancel out here, giving us an x minus 1. And then I think I'm going to bring this over so that we can kind of look at it. Oh, well, it almost did it. Let's put x minus 3 in here, shall we? X minus 3. Because what that is it's going to be x minus 3 and x minus 3. And we're going to distribute that out here, 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 here. And we'll get x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. So if we clean that up, we have x squared minus 6x plus 9, and not the whole thing. Okay, it's not letting me copy it over there. Okay, so I'll have to actually write it in. Teacher problems. All right, so here we are. We are going to get stuff on the same side, and I'm lazy, so we're going to do it in the same step. It's actually not lazy. It is working smarter, not harder. Okay. 0, 0. So we have an equals 0, and we have x squared minus 7x wait a minute, there is a problem. Okay, this minus 9 should actually be a plus 9. Glad I caught that, because that would have been bad later. We're going to make that a plus 9. So that way we have plus 10 here. Sorry for the mistake, folks. I hope we caught that. All right. From here, we need factors of 10 to -7. And for that, we're going to use -2 times 5 is -2 times -5 is 10, and -2 plus -5 is -7. Is that kind of readable if I put it right there? Okay. So what that's going to look like is we'll have x minus 2 and x minus 5 equals 0. So we have x equals 2 and 5, but one of these doesn't work because, get back up here with our blue highlighter, our square root, our solution is x minus 3. Now, if I plug in 2 into if I plug in 2, well, 2 minus 3 equals -1, which is no good. So all we want then is our x equals 5, because 5 minus 3 equals 2 is positive. So we still only have one solution, so you'll want to be especially careful with that. All right, that's all for this. Thanks for hanging in there for the long video, and I will see you in class.